Right, okay, moving on. Now, that was a discussion point that had a lot of captivating points. Our next speech is about the Metaverse and Web3. From e-commerce to v-commerce, exploring the future of virtual shopping. Please welcome to the stage Anish Trivedi, the founder of Alenka Media, to take you through the next session. Over to you, sir.
And we're going to start with, first of all, thank you very much for being here today. Thank you very much for the event director, Nicole, for the panelists, and for anyone here that will be taking the time to listen to me. So we're going to make an interactive session. So if you're bored, I'll try not to make you bored. And hopefully we'll learn one thing or two of where we're going. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm the director of Web3 LIGHTBLUE. We are an award-winning experiential agency. So we're blurring the line between physical and digital, working with clients such as Prada, Burberry, Porsche, and we work in different segments. The funny fact of that is actually, as you've seen from my name, my surname is Pasta, and I'm Italian, fun enough. So prior to making my way to Dubai, I was in Australia when I was leading the marketing for Huawei as the marketing lead, and we launched some of the most important campaign in AI. So we launched a world first AI phone back in 2015, and I'm actively lecturing and speaking in the space to inspire new generation, but to embrace new technology. So I want to tell you something, but before I do that, I want to go back to ask you 4 questions. Because if you work with me, we'll make something cool and we'll learn something, hopefully. So the first question I have for you, if you raise your hand, if any of you still barter. So do you exchange seashell? Do you exchange grains? Is that any of you? Is any of you still barter? Do you still exchange seashells with other people? No, okay. Second question I have for you, how many of you have only cash on yourself and no credit cards? Is there anyone? Only cash? Only cash. Do you have a bank account? Yes. So don't count. Third question I have for you. How many of you, right here, have purchased at least one item online in the last month? How many of you? Okay. Want to see these hands? Guys, don't be shy. I'm not going to come and find you. Beautiful. At the last question, how many of you have purchased an item, physical or digital, in a digital world, or a metaverse, or a gamified experience? Can I see any hands up? How many of you have bought virtual goods? 1, 2. All right, so you say what's happening here, right? It's happening exactly what's here, right there. Commerce is ingrained human experience, and as you can appreciate, we've gone a very, very long time since we were trading cattle and shells and grain. That's been ages ago. So what I want to do today, I just want to take you through an experience. This is all I want to do. I want to get out of here, and maybe you learn one thing or two that you didn't know. Otherwise, I fail at my job, and I wasted your time. So first thing first, barter system. That's exactly where seashells, we were exchanging seashells and grains, but to be honest, it wasn't really practical. You needed more seashells, you go down to the beach and get some. So if you needed money, which was the seashell or the grains, you farm more grains, you get more seashells. That wasn't sustainable, because that means you could find money anywhere, anytime. So from there, something had to change, and what changed was the first coin. And the first coin came in a region called Lydia, which is now known as Turkey, and that was basically gold and bronze. It was coined to exchange values. The challenge with that is it was very heavy, and you couldn't carry, let's say, 10,000, 100,000 dirhams with you. It was very impractical. So what happened then, the Chinese came along, and they said, what about the flying money? And the flying money is nothing what we know as the paper money. It was more practical, it was easier to carry, you could store it, and you could have more. So what happened then? From the paper money, we moved into plastic money. So it's really funny if you don't know the story, but the first credit card came to life by a guy going for lunch in New York, forgetting his wallet, and not having anything to pay with. So he said, well, imagine if I would have a plastic card where I store money and I can just pay without the cash. That was 1949, and that guy which at the time was a broker, invented the first credit card. And it was called Diners Club. And from being in just in a few areas in New York, exploded internationally. So hopefully you're starting to understand what I'm getting to. So we had seashells, we had very heavy money, we had flying money, we had plastic cards, and the reason why we're here today. The first transaction was made in 1994, and we got it to thanks to Sting, the singer. Is there anyone fan of Sting here? Sting, the singer? Okay, we got one. Awesome. So why is because of Sting? In 1994, I used to be these economic students, 22 years old in the US. They was the first one. They basically sold a Sting CD, musical CD, to a friend of his 300 miles away in the US, making the first e-commerce transaction. After that, Amazon and eBay came to life. After that, everything changed. After that is the reason why we're here today. After that, we started seeing e-commerce growing exponentially. And personally, I listed only 4 reasons, but I'm sure there are so many more. Why do we think e-commerce has grown exponentially? Help me out here, you can shout. One reason is PayPal came along in 1998 and basically make payments secure. Before it was like very, very tricky. It's like buying crypto today, right? You get so confused, you don't know where to go. So the first one is PayPal. Second one, anyone? Anyone? I hope I don't scare you. Mobile payment. Mobile payment is the second one, okay? So you didn't have to buy anymore seated on your laptop. You could buy from anywhere, anytime. Third one, lowering the barrier to entry. Amazon came along and launched Amazon Prime. So before you had to wait 20 days to get, maybe a month to get your item, now you didn't want to wait anymore. Now you get pissed off if you don't get whatever you order within 24 hours. So that's the third reason. And then there is a fourth, which is digital currency. So you see, all these 4 pillars have made e-commerce what it is today. But the reason why here is what's next, and why we need to care of what's next. What's next is what is called commonly vCommerce. vCommerce is reinventing the shopping experience by leveraging the power of AI, VR, AR, blurring the line between physical and digital. So it's not going to be anymore a static website where you go on a JPEG and you buy stuff. It is going to be immersing yourself in the product, learning about your product, falling in love with the product. But then I was here and thinking, am I making this up? And because I don't want to make anything up, I want to show you a very interesting stats from PR Newswire. So in these stats you see up here, as e-commerce was built upon one metric, which was the internet made e-commerce possible. VR and AR will make e-commerce possible, right? So have a look at this, 21, 22. So by 2028, VR retail will go all the way up to 5.5 billion industry. And AR retail will go up to close to 7 billion. What is happening here, guys, that this technology is completely reinventing the way we shop. Our consumer behavior is shaped around wanting to know more. But then I was asking myself, when I was putting this presentation, are we in the right place to talk about this? Are we in the right place to talk about VR, AR? And then I come up with this from Statista. So if you look up there, Saudi Arabia and UAE, looking at the share of consumer, are the ones that are adapting the technology of AR, or VR, and so on. You might be there wondering, why is that? Well, guys, Saudi Arabia, two-thirds of the population is 36 years old. It's an incredible young population. If you look down at Japan, it's a much older. If you look at the Netherlands, much older. If you look from Italy, they started using internet, and I can say that because I'm Italian. So the point here is that effectively it's all generational, right? And we are moving into what would be called alpha generation. And alpha generation will be our kids, the kids of our kids. So the evolution has to be traded with a generation. Now I have 3 examples because I don't want to only talk about things but don't show you stuff. That's the first one. So most likely in the future, and the future is now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have AR stores. AR store means you don't go to the store anymore, the store comes to you anytime you want. And that means is you take your mobile out, you trace an area, could be your park, could be your house, it has to be an area which is not congested by other elements, and you basically create a store where you choose what you want to buy. You want to buy a fridge, you want to see how much it costs, you want to see the details, you want to see inside. Now, go on your website, go on any website, and you'll see a static page with a static image. They could be beautifully looking, but it's still a static image. Here, you're immersing yourself in the product. You're opening the product. Now, I'm opening the fridge. I mean, look at the backdrop, guys. The backdrop is basically, as someone who works in the space, it's incredible. So, our consumer behavior is shifting. We want more, and because we want more, we need to embrace it. And because we need to embrace it, all the e-commerce out there need to make the shift. They will later completely change, evolve, and create a new opportunity. So that's one first example. I want to show you another example, which has been already gone basically pretty much everywhere. This is a website-based example, right? So instead of having a static image here, you are walking into a Tiffany store. You are looking at the necklace that your wife or your girlfriend will want, but you don't want to buy because it's too expensive. I have that problem every day. And on that, you click in there and you look at the specs. But then let's take it further, right? I want to try it on because maybe I don't like it. So with an AR filter that Tiffany just launched in partnership with Snapchat, you'll be able to see, use the Snap filter, and basically try the necklace or the bracelet on you. So again, that's another example. And now I want to show you the last example, which is going back to what Emmanuel said, right? It goes back to the Metaverse, right? We're going into a digital world, and to go into this digital world, I want to show you a digital world of some of our partners called Journey. So what you're seeing here is, this is a Metaverse. This is a Metaverse where you have the BMW iVision right here, which I can engage with it by clicking and seeing what's going on around the car. I can see the headlight, I can see inside. The guy you see behind is the BMW CEO. That's his hologram there, talking about the experience. So what is happening here is, you say, oh, I don't want to wear a VR. I feel like I want to puke. No. This one actually you can access from mobile, you can access from desktop, you can access from tablet, and it will also have VR capabilities if you want to. So effectively, you might say, well, Mirko, but I'm not going to buy a car in one tap. Exactly. But you might want to book a test drive. So again, guys, don't see us selling something, see us providing value, because when you provide value, things will sell for itself. So in this case, you can get your, let's say you can get your test drive. If it would be a shoe, though, it would be a massive, which I have another example of, a massive Adidas shoes. You can actually go inside the shoes and say, oh, this looks awesome, and you can purchase by being directed either to an integrated e-shop in the platform, or you'll be driving out of the platform and going to the website or the merchant. So I want to leave you with one provocative thought, and I hope you learn a little bit about the evolution of where we're going. And the provocative thoughts, ladies and gentlemen, is a concept called digital Darwinism. Digital Darwinism, I'll read it for you, says that each business is a victim of digital Darwinism. The evolution of consumer behavior when society and technology evolve faster than the ability to exploit it. So many businesses have been victims of digital Darwinism. And why? Because the reality is, you can't stop innovation. Either you embrace it, either you take it with you on a journey and you capitalize, or either you be left behind. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a pleasure being with you today. If you want to have a chat, you can find me on LinkedIn or anything else. Let me know. Thank you very much, ladies.